Winning cures everything. Now for your hosts, Gary and Chris.
Welcome in. Winning cures everything. It is Wednesday, September the 9th. I'm Gary.
I'm Chris.
And we have got a lot to get through today and a short time to do it in, so I'm not going to fill your feed with all of the normal BS. I'll give you the quickest rundown ever. Go to winningcureseverything.com. You can find everything you need to know about us over there. And if you want our college football content, you can head over to sbrpicks.com/NCAAF, and you can find a ton of great writers along with our stuff over there. So we are handling the video content and some written content. All of our picks and whatnot for the college football season are over there. Make sure you are subscribed to the Sportsbook Review YouTube page, and all of our college football content will be right there for you. We will go live on Saturday mornings. We will go live on Tuesday afternoons, and we have our opening line show. And then we have another show that will pop up on Thursdays for you. So make sure that you head over there and do that thing. Subscribe to the podcast. Subscribe at all the different live platforms. We're on YouTube, Facebook, Periscope, Twitch, etc. All those good things. Matt jumps in on YouTube. He said, "Sup? What is up?" You know what's up. It's NFL week. It is week 1, baby. No preseason has made this feel like it's come up a lot sooner, but I'm wondering if that's maybe just a bunch of news. Chris, you kind of feel like that?
Well, yeah. I mean, it always starts the week after Labor Day. They're starting the week after Labor Day.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's just
It's on time.
Yeah, it's on time. It just feels sudden, and I think it feels sudden because there was no easing into it.
That's right.
College football, it's always, all right, Labor Day weekend, here we go. You know, we know what we're doing
for
with
bad
that.
teams to look bad.
Yeah, oh, yeah. I mean, we saw that with some college football teams. We're going to see that with the NFL a lot. Quick rundown on the show today. Jalen Ramsey, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk NCAA Tournament. We're going to talk our playoff picks and our Super Bowl picks. And we're doing the NFL Week 1 preview of the big games and whatnot. Going to give a pick out on those. And then our best bets. We're going to tell you what we're betting on this week, let you know exactly which direction we are going. It's going to be a fun ride. So, with that said, let's go ahead and hop into it. First thing up, Jalen Ramsey signs a massive, and I thought I wrote this down, I think it's 5 years, $105 million. Is that right?
Yeah.
That is an insane amount of money, and we've seen cornerbacks getting paid, right? We have seen that. It's happened frequently over the last, 2 off seasons, and this year it has gotten a little out of hand. You know, I talked just the other day on one of our previews about Byron Jones being the highest paid cornerback at $82 million. This one is $105 million, and the Rams don't have any money.
Yeah, I don't understand it. I mean, I know they want to lock him up and they want to keep him, but this is a hard cap league, man, and they've got a lot of dough tied up in the 3 guys, one of which is an absolute monster in Aaron Donald, yep. One of which is a quarterback that nobody's really sold on but thinks is pretty good. And then you have Jalen Ramsey, which is a complete wild card.
Yeah, I don't understand.
He was great with Jacksonville, but has he been great with the Rams last year?
I didn't see it. I mean, I
didn't think their defense definitely didn't improve with him on it.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. I don't think they were that great with him. He didn't look like he was worth that kind of money. Maybe I'm nuts. Like I don't understand what they are doing. And you know how some owners and some GMs, you can tell like if they're good or bad, and you know their names. Like, I don't even know who it is that owns the Rams right now. Like,
Stan Kroenke?
Kroenke.
One of the richest men in the world.
But he and his crew, the GM and whatnot, they weren't great when they were in St. Louis. Like, he
didn't have a GM. He let Jeff Fisher run the team.
Whew. I mean,
that was back in the day when a lot of coaches were the GM. If you were an elite level coach, and at one point in time, Jeff Fisher was that.
Yeah. I don't understand it. I don't know how they're building this team. None of this makes sense to me. I thought the Ramsey thing was we're going all in last year. I didn't know that he was going to be like a foundational piece, and we'll try and bring in role players or whatever around him. But they don't even have draft picks. Like I don't understand. I mean, cheers to, props to Jalen Ramsey for getting paid. I mean, you remember he was the one that backed up the Brinks truck. So this is what he wanted. But, man, I don't get it. I don't get it at all. All right, we'll move off of that one. Let's talk about the NCAA tournament really quick. And this came across the wire today that ACC basketball coaches voted unanimously. And this was not just the coaches. This was the ADs and the commissioner and everything. They are unanimous in this. They are pushing for the NCAA to allow an expansion of the tournament to include everybody, all the teams. David Savinell jumps in on Facebook, by the way, said Cowboys, baby. Then he said football is back. That's what I'm talking about.
How many teams is that?
It would be 351.
Insane.
Okay, so less than that because, Oklahoma State's got a postseason ban, and then there's, a few smaller schools that have, the APR thing. But, I mean, this whole thing is just utterly ridiculous. So
this is moronic. I think this is dumb. I think there's no way we're doing this, and on a show where we're booked, I don't know what we're talking about here.
Yeah. So, as of a couple of weeks ago, this is what Jeff Goodman said. As of a couple of weeks ago, one NCAA source I spoke to said it was more likely that the tournament would shrink to 32 teams than expand to 96 or beyond. Things are obviously fluid, but there's that. And let's see, what else was there? Yeah, he asked the question, why did the ACC do this proposal on their own? Why not try and get every other league on board if that's truly what everybody wants? This is the problem with college sports. Everyone's out for themselves, not working together, and the NCAA obviously is not organized enough. He also got a quote from a mid-major athletic director about this proposal, and he said, it makes us all look like clowns. And I think that I would agree. Now, the reason that the ACC went this way is because they have been discussing the idea of playing 0 non-conference games. They would only play in conference, which obviously we've done that for football for the most part. But for basketball, it's a little bit different, right? You need a larger sample size because, I mean, crazy things happen when you bounce that ball around. I don't know. Usually we get about 30 games or more, 30 to 35 games a season. And then you've got your conference tournaments, and then you go to the NCAA tournament. And you don't ever get any good teams that are left out of the tournament. You get teams that are mediocre that might get left out. So you can talk about some bubble teams that get this and that, but this whole thing is basically because they said, well, what if because of contact tracing and this and that, we've got teams that end up missing a bunch of games. Say we've got some teams that only play 8 to 12 games and another conference has teams that play 25 games. Well, then how do you go about it? And what they were told is you can't go non-conference or you can't go conference only because we have to have all these different data points. We have to have these metrics to be able to distinguish between the teams. And they said, all right, screw it. Why don't we just do everybody then? We'll just let everybody in. And apparently it's not 351 anymore. It's 347. That's what the number would be. So I don't know. I mean, it would take forever, absolutely forever. You'd have to have multiple bubble sites because the NCAA has already trademarked Battle in the Bubble for the March Madness tournament. I get where they're coming from with the screw it, just let everybody play. But that would basically be your season. Let everybody play 8 games and then just start the tournament, right? I mean, that's the only way you could do this.
We have talked for 13 minutes about this.
All right. Let's dive off of it. Let's talk about NFL. Let's give our playoff picks.
That's like the biggest wet blanket you just threw on a big-time NFL show.
We're on 9 minutes. It's not a hold on. Monsterx Gaming said, guys, a little off topic. Everyone needs to know this humiliation. In the MLB, the Brewers swept the Detroit Tigers 19-0. It's Major League Baseball. I guess
we're just going to be off topic. That's cool.
I guess. All right, let's go to the playoff picks. Let's start off with the AFC. And I'll roll through mine first. We doing 1 through 7?
I don't care. I don't know. What do you mean 1 through 7? You have an East, a West, a North, and a South.
Do you want to do division winners or do you want to do by seeding?
Holy shit.
What you tell me? I don't know. We didn't discuss this before.
I don't know. We've done this 5 years. I don't know.
Matt said off topic. What about OBJ? Nope, we're not, not hitting that.
See, you knew as soon as you said Matt, and you just.
Yep. Okay. All right.
Who do you have winning the AFC East?
AFC
Gary?
East, I've got the Patriots.
I've got the Patriots. Who do you have winning the AFC North?
North, I've got the Ravens.
I've got the Ravens. Who do you have winning the South?
I've got the Titans.
You're wrong. I've got the Colts. Who do you have winning the West?
I've got the Chiefs.
I've got the Chiefs. Jesus Christ.
All right. What about wild cards? We got 3 wild cards this year.
Sister's kids or something.
Wild
card teams, I have the Bills, I have the Browns, I have the Titans.
I've got the Steelers, the Bills, and the Broncos, and I don't feel nearly as good about the Broncos anymore. So, but that's the way it goes. That is the way it goes. All right, let's move to the NFC. Who have you got in the South?
The South, I have the Bucks.
I've got the Saints there. What about the West?
The West, I have the 49ers.
That's the same thing I've got. I've got the Cowboys in the East. Is that who you've got?
I've got the Cowboys.
All right, what about the North?
I've got the Vikings.
I've got the same thing. And then wild cards, I've got Bucks, Seahawks, and Eagles.
I've got the Saints, Seahawks, and Lions.
Lions. Nice. Okay. I feel like, well, we'll discuss that momentarily.
The playoffs.
Yeah.
That'll be a shocker.
What about your Super Bowl matchup?
My Super Bowl matchup is the one that nobody wants to see, but I will not be able to contain myself. It will be one golden boy, Thomas Brady, against the New England Patriots and Cam Newton.
I have got...
Somebody is leaving there with 7.
Yes, but at the same time, I think a lot of people would love to see that. I don't think anybody I think the networks want to see it, and I think a lot of people would hate watch it, and then the suicide rate will go through the roof after that game. All right. Let's see. Matt said, who's the team who made the playoffs this past season that will fail to make it this season? I don't even know off the top of my head.
Golly, that's tough because they added a playoff. So I've got a team that didn't make it last year that's absolutely making it this year, which is the Browns in one division and the Lions in the next. Well, I guess the Bucks also.
Yeah, the Bucks didn't make it, but we both have them
and
in.
the Colts, by the way.
I don't have the Colts in. It would not shock me.
I have 2 teams in each division that didn't make it last year.
I've got the Broncos making the wild card and the Steelers making the wild card. But other than that, I've got Titans, Patriots, Ravens, Chiefs in the AFC, and I've got Cowboys. I got the Cowboys winning the East, so like they didn't make it last year. But I've got Saints, 49ers, Vikings, and Seahawks. Like that, they're typically the same. When you got a good culture built, it's not, it's still hard to make the playoffs, but like you kind of know what you're going to get from these teams every year. Hey, Monster X Gaming said, "Go Vikings," and then he said, "No Packers as a wild card."
No.
Neither one of us thinks that the Packers are going to be very good this year. Last year was the result of a really easy schedule.
Somebody has surgically removed that horseshoe from Aaron Rodgers' anus.
Yes. Young Ganji said, Lions not likely. Hey, look, they were playing.
You're right. Probably not likely, but every year somebody goes from either worst to first or making the playoffs. And if you don't put one of those in, you're just fooling yourself. Yeah. Because this is the NFL. This isn't college football.
You are correct. My Super Bowl matchup is the one that all of the TV networks would love to have. And that would be the Kansas City Chiefs and the Dallas Cowboys. I think the Cowboys
just not going to play defense in the NFL this year.
Basically.
That's never happened before.
I know. I was sitting there writing it down. I said, this is likely not going to happen, but this was my pick. This is the one that I went with. I said, okay, we'll see. But, I will say this.
Well, you only a lot of people watch it. Chalky. You only win half chalky. So.
Yeah, Chiefs, I've got winning it. Have you got the Bucks winning it? Or have you got the Patriots winning it? Or have you even made a pick?
Yeah, I've got a pick. I've got Tom Brady getting number 7.
Well, okay.
They're the better football team. They're just a better team from top to bottom. I got Bruce Arians getting his ring. That's what I have.
Yeah, I think a lot of people will be very happy about that. It may not be the same number of people as we're happy about Andy Reid getting his, but football nerds galore.
No.
We'll
No,
be excited.
If you're a real football truther, you love Bruce Arians. You should love Bruce Arians and what he's done for the game and done in the game, and I think that's a big thing.
Yeah, I agree. All right. With that said, let's jump into some previews here. That did not take very long, so that's good. But the previews might. NFL Week 1 previews and picks. We'll give out just obviously, these are not going to be our best bets, but we'll give a pick on these games. We'll just see how we go. Thursday night football, tomorrow night, we get game 1. We get the opening of the season. I mean, it's going to be fantastic. I don't know that the game is going to be fantastic, but I know it's going to be good to see the players running out of the tunnels and getting ready to play a game in the NFL. No delays, no nothing. Yeah, now, we didn't have a preseason, which I think is going to make it even more real. But, you got Bill O'Brien going back to Arrowhead, where they had a 24-0 lead in the playoffs last season and ended up getting beat 51-31. I believe, if my math serves me correctly, that is a 51-7 run by the Chiefs to end the game. And I don't see where a lot has changed other than I think the Texans are not as good as they were last year, at least talent-wise. Maybe I'm crazy. This Chiefs -9 looks a little short to me. I'm going to take the Chiefs here. Now, the question is, how much of these teams had to practice? How much tackling have they done? How prepared are they? Because I think it could take an offense a little bit of time to get rolling, right? I think one of the biggest issues with the Chiefs last year in that playoff game was they had a bye week the week before, so the offense took a little bit to get rolling. Now, when it did, it absolutely got rolling on that Texans defense. But I kind of see the same thing going here. I think the Chiefs win by, at least 2 touchdowns. I think this is a big night for them. They get to show the trophy off, all that kind of stuff. Matt jumps in. He said, what's the over-under on ACL tears in week 1? I mean, we already saw an issue with look, I will say this. Mike Evans already dealing with the soft tissue injury, so he may not be playing this weekend. And Von Miller, of course, with the ankle. You got all kind of stuff going on already before we even start playing. So, tell me your thoughts here. What are you looking for on Thursday night?
I mean, I think the Chiefs win this game. I don't think there's any world in which they don't win it, unless we see a major injury early, which we just don't want to talk about that. We don't want to see that. But Deshaun Watson is a real football player. Bill O'Brien is not a terrible coach when it comes to coaching and the X's and O's and on the game. I think this is going to look a lot different than the last game because they're not going to get that big kind of lead. But I think it's going to be lower scoring and closer than the last game. Will they keep it under 10? I don't know. That's tough. Line's pretty much 9.5, 9 all the way across the board, depending on what you want to do with it. I wouldn't touch it. If I had to bet it, I would probably take the points. It's the first game. Everybody's going to have some flaws. Everybody's going to work out some kinks. This is basically preseason football, but all the starters are going to play the whole game. I'm not expecting magic here. Okay. I'm just not. And I think a lot of people are going to start off real slow. And with that being said, I think the game's just going to end up a lot closer than we think.
You might be right about that. I will say this. Adam jumped in on Periscope. He said, I think there's value in unders and then maybe backdoor covers if the line drops in play. Live betting, especially in college football, has been the way to go.
I've been in college, but this is the pros. These guys are professionals. If you think 9 points is no big deal or short in the pros, you're just insane. You just don't get double-digit point spreads in the NFL.
Oh, agreed. I mean, this one opened at 11, and it's been bet down to 9.
Yeah, it's been bet down because in the professional football game, sharps know you don't lay double digits to anybody.
Agreed. The other one was Baltimore and the Browns, which is the next one up. We can go ahead and start discussing that one as well. The Browns going to Baltimore, and, it opened at 10, and now it's down to, 7.5 in some spots. Mostly 8, it looks like, across the board. There's more 7.5s popping up than I thought. A lot of people, coming in on the Browns here.
Are you looking at SBR?
Yeah, I see 54% of the bets on Baltimore.
Do you see Bookmaker?
I see Bookmaker at 3, but they've got like
it's just minus 120.
That's odd. I
can't understand that.
I think
you can
that's
find this line anywhere from 8 to 3.
I mean, but that's the only 3 on the board.
Yes, that's the only 3 on the board, but it's available.
Hold on, I'm looking at Bookmaker right now.
If you're a Browns guy like me,
no. It that thing came across wrong. They pulled it wrong. It's actually Ravens minus 7.5 at minus 111 over at Bookmaker. Yeah. So I'm looking at
that. Listen, that's just one of those where you just create a new account, you give some business to a new book, and you take their money.
Yeah, I mean, if it was minus 3, absolutely. But if it's 7.5, tell me. I like the Ravens a lot this year, but I don't think they're going to be as dominant as they were last season. The NFL stands for not for long, right? So while Lamar Jackson was kind of the flavor of the week last year, remember the Browns were one of the teams that actually beat up on them.
Yep.
Early on.
And when did they do that?
Week 4 or 5.
Who was on the team?
I don't know what you're wanting me to go.
Myles Garrett was on the team.
Oh, okay.
Because he wasn't on the team the second time they played.
That's right. Okay.
Who was the only person in the league last year that shut Lamar down?
That would
He didn't come off that left edge. No. He wants to bootleg. He's bootlegging right, baby. He ain't bootlegging left.
I'm guessing you rolling with the Browns here.
Because the freakiest freak that has ever lived since Bo Jackson is on the left side of that edge. Yes.
I'm rolling Browns with you.
Give me the Browns. I'm getting over a touchdown in the NFL. That's crazy. Yeah. I think the Ravens are a really good football team. I have them realistically probably being an AFC representative better than my Patriots. But I love Lamar Jackson. I think this Browns team is going to shock people. I think they actually have an adult in the room. All the hype was last year. It's one of those things where we should have pumped the brakes, and then this year is now when we actually should have unleashed the hype train. I think that defense is really good. I think that this is not a Baker. Baker needs to play good football. Baker can't be bad at football like he has been. If Baker plays good football, the Browns have every bit of a shot to win this game. I think they keep this close.
I think so, too. I mean, they've got an adult for a head coach now. Like Kevin Stefanski, and this is not to talk like
but they had a moron for a head coach last year, and this defense still shut the Ravens down in the first time they played.
Yes, you are correct. Corey Weaver jumped in on Facebook, said, if injuries are limited in week 1, will we see the preseason go away or reduced in the future?
Yeah. Well, it's definitely going to be reduced now. We'll never get 4 games of preseason again the rest of our lives.
I think,
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I really want to, only because I think we're about to get some really bad football.
Well, we're also moving to 17 games next year. So, yeah, I could see him cutting it down by 2.
We're just going to see really bad football the first 4 weeks of the season.
Yes, I think we are. Staying on that 12 p.m. time slot, Central Time, of course, God's time zone, on Sunday, Packers at the Vikings. And this one is sitting currently at the Vikings minus 2.5. So less than a field goal. And at some spots, nope, it's sitting 2.5 across the board. And it opened.
I thought it was 2.5 across the board.
It is now. Yeah. When I wrote it down earlier, it was 2.5 or 3. But it is. It's 2.5 across the board. It opened at 3.5. 51% of the tickets on the Packers. Like, what are they seeing that I'm not? Because they're
seeing the 13-3. They're seeing pissed off Aaron Rodgers. They're seeing all kinds of stuff.
I don't understand.
These are all storylines, though. They're not actually seeing football.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Storylines don't equate to wins.
I'll go ahead and obviously I'm taking the Vikings minus the 2.5. They are, 64%, I think I saw, over the last 3 years at home against the spread. I mean, this is a good football team, especially in the Dome.
This is going to be the first game where we actually see. I listen to a lot of podcasts, okay? I listen to a lot of NFL podcasts. I listened to a guy today, and Packer fan. Big time, big league for the last 4 years, been listening to a show, Packer fan. Came out today in his picks and said, I'm really getting tired of the Rodgers drama. And you know what that sounds like? Packer fans are preparing for Jordan Love.
Yep.
And I think that's the smartest thing they can do. This guy's been a diva from day one, and he's been amazing. He's been an unbelievable quarterback. But that dude is an asshole and tough to deal with. You think it's any like remarkable thing that they just don't sign free agents at receiver? Just they just don't do it. You think that's an organizational decision? You think it's just hard to get people to want to go to play in Green Bay, but yet they'll come to Cleveland?
No, I think you're right here. I think you're right. I think
this guy's an asshole.
They just don't want to work with him.
So
I'm rolling Minnesota.
The mistake is always somebody else's. It's never his. You know how I feel about that. It's okay to make mistakes. You have to take personal responsibility. And he's been the reason they've had problems in the past. Not all of them, but when they're his, he needs to own them. And he doesn't. He puts them off on other people, and that makes it to where people don't want to work with you.
Yeah.
All right. He ran Mike McCarthy out, and all the Packer fans can hate on Mike McCarthy all they want. We about to see, was Mike McCarthy the problem?
I don't think he was.
Aaron the problem. Give me the Vikings. I think they're going to whoop their ass.
I think so too. Matt jumped in. He said, my vacuum quit working, so I put a Packer sticker on it. Now it sucks more. Yeah. Young Gansey said, what about the under 46 on that Green Bay, Minnesota game? That's a really...
Yeah, I would like to... I know that's a short number. That's a real low number, but I think that's going to be a low-scoring game because I just don't trust either one of these offenses yet.
I agree. I think it'll be
and
in the 40s.
Both these defenses are good.
Oh, yeah. That's the biggest thing. I think the defenses are really good. I don't trust either offense. I would probably roll the under 46. Now, I'm not going to bet it because it's right there at the number that I would think it would be.
It's really tough to hit a professional over-under in the mid-40s. It's just hard. Offenses become so much a part of the game. Under 40 is tough. Field goal kickers can make it from the 50s now. Yeah. So you just get the ball to the 40-yard line and you almost guaranteeing 3 points. It's just tough to play defense anymore. I would love to, and I think it's actually good. That's the play I would make if I had to make that play as well. But that's where I think the game's going to finish. It's going to be real close to that.
Yeah, I mean that's a 24-21 type of score.
Yeah.
You know,
it wouldn't surprise me if neither of these teams see 20.
I might agree with you there.
That wouldn't shock me.
I mean, a 17-13 kind of ball game, like
yeah. I think that's more probable than 25-25.
I agree.
I think you got a better shot at this thing not hitting 40 than it hitting 50.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree. Let's move on. Let's talk about the Sunday afternoon game, which I think is going to do absolutely monster ratings on Fox. And that would be the Tampa Bay Bucks traveling to New Orleans, where Tommy Boy is going to be an underdog for the first time in like 18 years at this point.
It's been a long time. No, I think he was a dog against one of those Chiefs games recently. Maybe when they played at Arrowhead. Maybe so.
Either way, this is insane. I mean, this is absolutely insane, and
its number's getting bigger.
Oh yeah, I mean it. Well, no,
growing.
It opened at 4.5. It's down to 3.5 now.
Oh, okay. I thought it opened at 3.5, and I was about to say you can find it for. Well, you can't anymore. You could this afternoon.
It is.
You can find
it
for
3.5 across the board, and it's minus 105 for the odds basically everywhere. Total is sitting at anywhere from 49 to 49.5, which is exactly where it opened. So
that's a number I would go over on. This is a big time afternoon game. These two football teams are going to score points.
Well, and it's two offensive coaches that love to fling it around. They both got weapons.
If you want to see a dick measuring contest, put Bruce Arians and Sean Payton in a room with two quarters.
Yeah, with two good quarterbacks.
Somebody's pants are coming down. It's just going to happen.
I'll tell you this: like there is so much hype for Tampa Bay right now.
But it is for the Saints too. Everybody in the world is picking the Saints to go to the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
they're all in on, with Drew Brees last year. They said another. It's all the same. You can't say there's more hype on one side than there is on the other.
True. And if the ticket count were any different, there's 51% of the wagers coming in on Tampa Bay.
It's minuscule.
Which is tiny. However, it has moved an entire point. So I don't know what the money.
That's because Vegas doesn't. I think that's because the bookmakers don't want to get too far off of 50-50.
You might be right about that.
They don't care the number. They need 50-50 on both sides. And if it gets up just a hair, they're just moving because they need to get money back the other way.
I will say this. If it goes down to 3, Like, I doubt you're going to see I think you'll see a lot of people betting on the Saints at that point. But either way, I'm going to go on and take the Saints.
Hey, listen, they can lay as many points as they want. If they don't win the football game, they're going to lose the bet.
Oh, no.
You're going to lose that damn ticket because Tommy ain't losing game one.
All right, so you rolling with TB, huh?
When's the last time Tom's lost the first game of the season?
I mean,
I'm
has it
going
ever
to
happened?
almost say never.
I mean,
I don't know that it's happened in 20 years.
I don't even know if I can look up that stat. I have no idea, but I will say this. When's the last time that he wasn't actually, playing a game for the Patriots?
Oh, okay, but this team's supposed to be better than the Patriots.
They're supposed to be. I'm a roll with the Saints at home. I like them in this spot. I think they've got the culture built a little more, and that's would it surprise me if Tampa Bay wins this game? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But I'm a roll Saints here. Like, I don't have a good feel on this one way or another. I'm rolling Saints. I like them in the spot. And you rolling Tampa Bay, right? Rolling Tampa Bay
yes.
plus 3.5.
Yes.
All right. Let's see. All right, let's move on and let us discuss a game that I thought was pretty big, and that is the Cardinals at the 49ers. And this one is down to 7 points. It is the 49ers -7, and it opened at 9. And it is, I mean, Lord, I'm seeing one. Heritage has got it 6.5 now. Jazz has it 6.5 now. I mean, it's dropping a lot. The Cardinals did play them close both times last year. People think Kyler Murray is going to take a massive step forward. My question is, what if Kyler Murray takes a step back? What if people can figure him out after one season? And now they brought in Hopkins, right? They got weapons for him. They got dudes. But, is the Super Bowl loser, slump, is that a real thing? Is that a jinx? And
no, it's not a jinx. It's not a jinx. Let me tell you what it is every Super Bowl loser usually loses both their coordinators to other jobs because they made the damn Super Bowl.
True.
And they didn't lose anybody. Okay? Everybody is still there. So there's a reason the Super Bowl loser doesn't make the playoffs all the time. They have a shitload of free agents. They went all in on the season, and so they lose a bunch of guys, and they also lose a bunch of coaches. Okay?
True.
This team didn't do either. All right? So let me tell you, I made one statement earlier, and I was wrong. I'm going to admit I'm wrong. The Denver Broncos are not the Cleveland Browns of 2019. The Arizona Cardinals stink like Cleveland last year. People are talking Kyler Murray for MVP. He's got the third best odds to win MVP.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? This team is not a great football team. They just threw Hopkins in there, just like Cleveland threw Odell in there with no offseason, no practice, and just all of a sudden it's going to magically work out. I don't think so, Scooter. I will take all the unders on all. I will take every bet anybody wants on all the Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah, I can bet that. By the way, Young Ganji said, what team still has fans? Home field advantage is going to be 0 these days without fans.
Right. I agree with that, by the way.
Well, I think it's going to be basically 0 anyway, because nobody's letting in any more than like 20,000 people. You're not going to be able to hear them. It's not going to make a massive difference. The atmosphere is not going to be there.
The difference between sleeping in your own bed as opposed to sleeping in a hotel is nothing for these guys because they're used to sleeping in hotels their entire life.
Yeah.
So it doesn't go. I don't think home field advantage matters. Basically, the new home field advantage is what would these teams' record be or the number be if it was a neutral site game, and that's how the bookmakers are looking at this.
Yeah, I agree. Matt said, I don't see Murray doing much, and then he corrected me. I forgot what it was called. It's the sophomore slump. So we're trying to figure out whether or not that's what Murray's going to be. And I don't know that it's sophomore slump. I just, he wasn't great.
I think he's going to be okay. I think offensively they're going to be just fine. I think defensively they can't stop anybody.
Yes, agreed.
Like you talked about Vance Joseph. I went back and looked up Vance Joseph's numbers. Vance Joseph was not a very good coordinator in the NFL. He just wasn't. Go look back at him.
Maybe you're right.
Vance Joseph was not good.
Did I just assume that because he got a head coaching job?
I think so.
Maybe so. I felt like he was better than what he has been, but
he was not. His defenses were not.
I'll be damned. Well, either way, I think we both kind of expect the same thing out of the Cardinals this year. I think that those two games that the Cardinals had with the 49ers last year might have been more to do with scheduling and where they fell on the schedule as opposed
I agree with that.
As opposed to this. I mean, this one, they got the 49ers coming out of the gate. If they keep it
close, that's fine. If they cover this number, that's fine. I mean, 7-point numbers in the NFL just don't get busted a lot. I mean, every week you'll just see half the games are going to come down to a final last-second field goal to win or lose it.
Yeah.
But with that being said, that I just don't – I think we're putting the cart way before the horse with this team, man. We just are. We're just singing all their praises way too soon. And I don't know what they did last year to justify that. And I don't know how they've improved this year outside of Hopkins is amazing. I think Hopkins is unbelievable. I also think Hopkins is really good because he puts in the work with the quarterback, and he hasn't been able to do that this offseason.
That's true.
I think in time that could be an unbelievable duo. I don't know that that's the case this year, this fast.
Yeah, especially not in game one.
Yeah. Against this defensive front, come on, man.
No, I don't buy it. I don't buy it at all. I'm gonna take the 49ers there. I'm guessing you're doing the same thing, Seven?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's move on. We are jumping into the last three.
You can get them at 6.5, by the way, if you want to just actually give us the better number.
Well, let's do that. Let's do the 6.5. I didn't want to.
Why you're not shopping numbers around here, Gary?
All right, let's move to Sunday Night Football, and then we got two Monday night games. Sunday Night Football, you got the Dallas Cowboys going all the way out to California, where everything is shut down and everything is on fire. And the Rams are a 3-point underdog to the Cowboys to start things off with. I think that's across the board, right? Yep, 3 across the board. And you can get plus odds basically everywhere. If you want to take the Cowboys -3, you got a 53% of the wagers coming in on the Cowboys right now. I mean, look, I think Mike McCarthy is a fantastic coach. I think the Cowboys have talent. I think they've got a ton of offensive talent. I don't think that the Rams are great on defense. They got two really good dudes. And I don't know that Jalen Ramsey is really a really good dude, but I think that the Cowboys are going to be able to put up points here. And, we'll see what the Rams do with Akers and whoever else. I mean, Cooper Kupp is back and all this. Maybe they're going to be fine. Like, I trust Sean McVay to be able to have a game plan in to keep them in the ball game. But I like the Cowboys here. I'm going to take the Cowboys -3. And, I'm still in wait-and-see mode on the Rams because I don't like how this team is built.
I don't believe in the Rams. I'm not a big Rams fan, but I'm taking the points here. I think this Cowboys team has been smelling its own shit all offseason.
Yeah.
I think they're really good offensively. We still play two sides of the ball in the NFL. This is not the Big 12. I know you play in Texas, all right, and your boys in Texas don't like to play defense, okay? I understand that. But you got to play defense. You're going to come to the NFL.
Okay, yeah. No, I see that.
I think the Rams offense is going to look really good. I don't know that they are really good, but I think they're going to look really good. And I think they're going to be able to score at will. I think you got a lot of things that are going to go in their favor when it comes to clock management, controlling game flow, keeping it close. I get a 3-point head start. I'll take it.
I can understand that. So, and I'll take the Cowboys. We will move on. Let's talk about Monday night. And good gracious, we're going to open up 6:15 p.m. Central Time, God's time zone, with the Pittsburgh Steelers traveling to the New York Giants, where, again, I believe everything is shut down. And the Giants are a 6-point underdog at home. And you can get it at 5.5 at one spot, but it's pretty much 6 across the board. 64% of the tickets on the Steelers, and the line has gone from the Steelers -3.5 all the way up to 6. Now, yes, the Steelers should be the better team, right? Matt Miller jumps in and said, as a Broncos fan, the last day and a half has been depressing. Yeah, I can believe that. And we'll get to the Broncos here in a minute, but yeah, that sucked yesterday. That sucked. But for the Steelers and the Giants, I'm gonna take the points. Like, I'm going to take the Giants plus the 6 here. I don't know what Roethlisberger looks like, but I know what's behind him is pretty much atrocious. I do like the Steelers' defense, and the Steelers have got weapons. You got James Conner coming back from injury and all that kind of stuff, but I think this is going to be a really close ball game. I think it's going to come down to a field goal. I think the Steelers win, but I think the Giants can keep this thing close. I mean, who knows? I don't like Joe Judge. I don't like what they did with their coaching staff, and I don't see where they've really improved talent-wise. Saquon Barkley is not going to be injured this go-round, so maybe that's something. But I think it'll just be a normal, close NFL ball game on a Monday night at home for the Giants, and I think the Steelers win by field goal. So I'll take the Giants with the +6.
So I'm going to teach everybody about something about foreseeing problems before they happen. Okay, this is a very important thing. All right, right now, I do not believe the Steelers to be a very good football team. Okay, I think their defense is really good. Getting an older Ben Roethlisberger back off of an injury, I do not think improves that offense any more than he looked the first 2 games of last year, where I believe they put up 0 points. So with that being said, I'm going to tell you, you are about to be sold a bill of goods that is just false. You're going to be put a false god in front of you. Do not worship it. Steelers are going to come out and they're going to beat the shit out of the Giants. This offense is going to look amazing. Everybody is going to spend a week singing their praises. The Steelers are back, baby. This might be the worst defense in the NFL out of all 32 of them. They're going to go up against an offense that I think has a lot of talent, but is coached by 2 of the biggest morons to ever coach a football team. Okay. So with that being said, the Steelers are going to whoop their ass in this game. Next week, do not buy into the hype. Do not let all the analysts come out of the woodworks and tell you the Steelers are back, baby. They're Super Bowl bound. They are back. They're going to go to the playoffs. Ben is healthy. Their Juju look great. No. It's all false. It's all a mirage. It's all fool's gold. Don't fall for it next week. Don't do it. Whatever the number is, just bet against them next week. Don't even know the game. Hadn't looked that far ahead. Doesn't matter. Just bet against them, because everybody's going to be blowing smoke up their ass after this game, because they're going to win. They're going to cover. After that, they are going to fall so hard because they're not really a good football team.
It's the Broncos at the Steelers in week 2.
Then they're going to get their ass kicked. The Broncos are going to come in. They're going to kick their ass.
I mean, you might be right. You might be right.
Because this is not a good offense. Ben Roethlisberger is not better after taking a year off, recovering from an injury in which he wasn't good before he had the injury.
After that, so this is the Steelers' opening schedule, by the way, at the Giants, then Broncos, Texans, at the Titans, Eagles, Browns, at the Ravens, at the Cowboys, Bengals. Let's see.
Man, it's like every other game they play a terrible defense, and every other game they play a pretty good defense.
Yeah. It's pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. I never would have imagined that I would have seen the day where you and I would have taken opposite sides on the Steelers bet, and that you would be the one betting on the Steelers. How on earth
do you think the Giants are going to be good at football?
I don't know that they're going to be good at football.
Jason Garrett, Freddie Soup Kitchens, what are we doing?
Like I said, I don't like what the Giants have done.
What are we doing?
But I also don't like the idea of Roethlisberger coming back from an injury, and I don't think that they are going to take him out of the ballgame.
No, but that defense is slow. That defense is soft. He's going to look amazing, and everybody's going to puff him up. He's going to do it on Monday night. He's going to spend the week getting blown, and after that, he's just going to fall off a damn cliff.
You might be right. You might be right. Let's see. Damian said Steelers are going to hit and run through the Giants. Yeah, maybe so.
That's
maybe
right.
So. So last game of the TV slate and whatnot, and Matt Miller jumps in with this. It is the Titans -2 at the Broncos, and I believe it's
opened up as the Titans +3.
Yeah, and then of course and you can get it at 2.5 as well in a couple of spots now.
That's an unbelievable line movement, just a ridiculous line movement in the NFL.
Yes. Von Miller, of course, going out, that shifted things a lot from yesterday.
Is Von Miller worth 6 points?
No, Lord, no, absolutely
Jesus
not.
Christ.
Let's see. Matt jumps in. Matt Miller said Broncos are 28-6-1 all-time week 1. I think that's because most teams are not in shape the first couple of weeks. Imagine how bad a shape teams are in right now.
Yep. 100%. You're giving away all the answers, Matt. You're giving away all the answers. Yep. That's exactly right. There's one team that's going to have home field advantage this year. One.
And that'd be the Broncos.
Because when you go up and you play in 5,000 feet of altitude, okay, they call it mile high, but they're lying because a mile is only like 3,000 something feet. It's like a mile and a half over that. This is not going to be close. I like the Titans a lot. You know that. I say it's not going to be close. I think the Broncos are going to win this game. I think their offense is really good, much improved. I think their defense is going to be just fine. All right. They're not going to be great. Losing Vaughn is massive, massive problem. All right. But I think other guys are going to step up. I don't know if Chubb's going to be healthy. We'll have to find that out. I'm going to tell you this. Tennessee's not going to look like Tennessee looked at the end of the year last year. Tennessee's going to look a whole hell of a lot they looked like in the middle of the year, where it's just a lull.
Hold on. Right. Middle of last year, the Titans were running on all cylinders, man. They were banging them out because Tannehill had, just a ridiculous QBR. Like their offense was on fire middle of the year last year. However, Tannehill got that contract. I don't think he is nearly as good as what they paid him.
No chance.
And in this spot, I like Denver. Are we taking the 2.5?
I can't believe all those points. I can't believe the point moved that much. I can't believe it. That just shocked me.
I don't understand.
I came in ready to bet on the Titans. I'm not doing that. That's insane. That's just insane. And the altitude is a killer. It's an absolute killer. These dudes think they're going to go up there and run like crazy. They're about to get gassed like nobody's business.
Yeah. Matt Miller said Chubb's on a pitch count early to make sure that he's good. Damian comes in and said Titans 28-14.
No chance.
This
is a week that I would not start Henry.
Yeah, I would not roll that. I wouldn't. So, but that's just me. All right. So with that said, let's go ahead and end the show with our best bets. And you want to do this one? How many bets you got this week?
I pick 5. I pick 5 every week. I'm never going to not pick 5.
Okay. Well, that's
never
what I'm
going to pick
saying.
more. I'm never going to pick less.
I've got 5.
I play the super contest.
There
I
you
pick
go.
5.
Okay. So that's what I've got as well. I've got 5. I will go ahead and start us off here.
Okay.
I'm rolling with the Kansas City Chiefs on Thursday night. I like them minus the 9. I think that, it may start off slow, all that kind of stuff, but I have a feeling that the Chiefs, especially on the night where they get to hoist the Lombardi Trophy, they get to show everybody all this stuff, and it's all on TV and whatnot, but they're still going to have, some fans in the stands and whatnot. I think they are going to come out guns a-blazing. They got the weapons back from last year. I think Clyde Edwards-Helaire is going to have a fantastic game. Yes, Bill O'Brien is a fine coach, whatever. But I think that this Texans team got worse, and I think that the Chiefs are still really good. I'm going to take the Chiefs by 2 touchdowns here. I like the minus 9. Give me the Chiefs.
Going up to Buffalo. They got the Jets coming in. I don't think the Jets are good. I think bad teams are going to look really bad without a preseason. And I think the Bills got better this year. I like the Bills a lot. They got to win by more than a touchdown. The line's a 6.5. I'll take the Bills.
I like that. I thought really hard about that game. I thought really hard about that one. But I hate Sam Darnold, but also I'm a little worried about Josh Allen. So either way.
Not worried about Josh Allen at all. They going to run the football. Josh is going to throw it deep.
That's what Lamar did last year, right?
That's it.
There you go. All right, moving on to Sunday. My second pick here, the Seahawks are going down to Atlanta for a noon game. Now, everybody will tell you all about how the Seahawks are fantastic whenever they go into the Eastern time zone and whatnot. I like the Falcons in this spot. I think they're going to win the football game. I don't have a good reason why, but I don't trust the coaching staff, or at least the offensive coaching staff, for the Seahawks right now, and I think their defense is going to take a little bit of time to get caught up with their new toys, right? I think it's going to take a little bit. I think the Falcons are going to win this first one at home. Give me the Falcons plus 2.5. I don't have a great reason for it, but in week 1 with no preseason and who knows what this season's even going to look like, give me the Falcons at home. I like them as an underdog in this spot.
My second game, I'm going to Atlanta with the Seahawks. And I think Russell Wilson and Pete Carroll and that run game and DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett are going to go in there and they're going to kick their ass. I just don't think Falcons are good. I got a lot of money, substantial amount of capital that's to me on Dan Quinn being the first coach fired. Can't win the first game if you're going to be the first coach fired.
That's a valid point. That is a valid point. Okay. Third one for me, going up to Minnesota. I'm going to take the Vikings minus 2.5 against the Packers. I don't think this Packers team is very good. I think they've got too much crap going on after they selected a first-round quarterback and whatnot. There are very few weapons for Aaron Rodgers to throw to, and I think that the Vikings defense, even if he did have weapons, was still going to be able to slow him down. Kirk Cousins isn't great in primetime spots. This ain't a primetime spot. This is a divisional game. Vikings at home, really good. Vikings at home in divisional games, really good. Give me the Vikings to win by, at least a field goal here. I think this seems kind of easy to me. Maybe I'm crazy, but I like the Vikings minus 2.5.
Staying in the NFC, I'm going to the AFC South.
Okay.
The Indianapolis Colts playing in Jacksonville. Jacksonville's a bad football team. All I'm trying to do this week is bet against bad football teams. I think one is really well coached. I think the other is not. I think one is really well put together. I think the other is not. I think Philip Rivers is about to have one of the best seasons, the most efficient seasons, let's say, that he's ever had in his life. And I think they're going to run the football. I think they're going to shut Jacksonville down. You got to give a pretty good number in the NFL. I don't like doing that. I don't like going over a touchdown. It's over a touchdown. It's 8 almost everywhere. You can get it 8.5 some places. You can get it 7.5 in others. It's a sizable number.
Yeah,
in the NFL.
And this is one of those, by the way. Bet Online has this at minus 9.5 for the Colts. Yep. But you can get it at Pinnacle for minus 7.5, and then it's like 8 basically everywhere else.
Yeah. So that's it. So I'm going to take the Colts, and I'm going to take 7.5 from Pinnacle.
I'm with you. I understand that. I am going to go to Foxborough for my 4th pick. The Dolphins heading up to the Patriots. The Dolphins kind of started that. They didn't start it, but they kind of ended that regular season for the Patriots in a very ugly fashion. And then the Titans finished off the Tom Brady era. And that comeback touchdown, with Brian Fitzpatrick and all that kind of stuff, that's what everybody's pointing to, right? Brian Flores coming back to the Master's lair, all this kind of mess. I don't buy it yet. I don't see where Miami is there just yet, and I think everybody wants to sell on the Patriots this season. I think game 1, there will not be a better prepared team in the entire NFL than Bill Belichick's bunch. No doubt. I'm having to lay less than a touchdown.
Absolutely.
Give me the Patriots minus 6.5 against the Dolphins. This is early last season. The Dolphins were getting hammered by, 50 points a game. I mean, it was just ridiculous. I don't think it's going to be the same
Patriots,
thing.
By the way.
By the Patriots, and then what was the other one?
The Cowboys.
The Cowboys. Yeah, I mean, it was absurd. Matt Miller said Peter King had Miami winning the division. That's just nobody should listen to Peter King anymore. I mean, that's just ridiculous. Give me the Patriots minus 6.5. I think Cam Newton comes out and looks unbelievable.
I got Cam Newton for an MVP sprinkle on there. I got a little taste on that. So I'm going a little unorthodox here. This is a little weird. Liz is a little bit of a heart bet, but a lot of logic behind this too. I'm going to our nation's capital. I'm going to Washington, and
I was scared of that.
I am gonna bet on the Washington football team +6 against the Philadelphia Eagles. I don't think the Eagles are very good at all. I think this team is going to struggle to get to 8-8, 7-9. I don't find Carson Wentz to be good. I don't know why people look at him and think he's good. I've watched him play. I can't see it. I don't see it. Okay. I think after this team has won the Super Bowl, they lost so many players that they just don't look anywhere close to the same. Offensively, they don't scare me at all. But let's get to Washington. Ron Rivera is a grown-up in the room. Ron Rivera is a professional football coach, okay? Blackjack Del Rio taking over that defense. That defense is loaded with talent.
Yes,
right?
It is.
If you played in a national championship in the last 3 or 4 years, there's a really good shot that you're on Washington's defense side, okay? and they are maybe in the playoffs, all right? And they just added one of the freakiest freaks that we've seen come through the combine in a long time, okay? I think defensively, this team is going to be really good. I think they're going to surprise the hell out of people in Washington. I don't like Dan Snyder. It's okay. I can like this team and not like the owner. I think that's acceptable. I like the Colts, and I really hate Jim Irsay. So,
I mean, you did the same thing with the Chargers.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that's right. It's okay. I think this team is an unbelievable football team, and they're going to be better. I don't know that I believe in Haskins. I'm worried offensively. I'm going to put that out there. I'm very worried offensively. I get a 6-point head start with a professional football coach on one side, and a team that I just think is not nearly as good as everybody makes them out to be. Nobody believes in Washington. This is a redemption story I'm ready to see, and it starts week 1. I think they're going to upset them. I think they're going to beat the Eagles. I think they're going to win this football game. And I'm going to tell you this.
Okay.
Ron Rivera coming out, got cancer. He's going to kick cancer's ass too.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm going to jump. By the way, everybody that's leaving comments and whatnot, I'm going to jump into them as soon as we get done with these last 2 picks. So just hold on. We'll jump into it. No worries. Last game for me, the Los Angeles Chargers are going to Cincinnati, Ohio for a noon Central kick. Now, that would be 10 a.m. their time, correct?
Yes, sir. I think that's how the time works.
I believe that's how that works. And the Bengals are a 3-point underdog here. Now, it might be crazy to bet on...
Oh, time out.
What?
That's a 4 o'clock kick.
When did that become? You're right, 3:05. Okay. Either way,
don't
that
put too
doesn't
much
matter.
on the time.
That don't matter anyway. I'm not that worried about that. What I am saying here is, I think Cincinnati wins this ballgame. I think Cincinnati has more talent. When I was looking through this roster, I was looking through the depth chart and whatnot, and I saw what they did early in the season last year, even with a new head coach and whatnot. Well, now you're in second year of a new head coach. I think Joe Burrow, coming in, he was already announced as a team captain. He was voted by the players on the team, all the veterans and whatnot, made him a captain. I think they got talent. I think they got a fairly decent defense. I think the Bengals are going to win this football game.
I think the Bengals are going to win that football game too.
Yeah, I've got them +3 here. Yeah. So is that your last pick?
No, that's not my last pick. I'm going to the Saints. I'm going to Tampa. I'm going to bet on my boy Tommy. I had to make up my mind. Am I betting on Joe? Am I betting on Bill? Or am I betting on Tom? And I can't do them all, which I'll do them all. But super contest, I gotta be smart. I'm going with Tom, man. He's not going to lose first game of the season. He's just not. He's not going to Tampa to lose football games. He didn't do that. He didn't sign up for that. So, and I also tell you this. I think this Saints roster. I think the Saints roster is loaded. Let me preface what I'm about to say by I think they're really good, and I think they are loaded with talent. I think we're going to see old man Drew Brees, because I think we saw him last year.
Towards the end of the season,
Drew Brees throws the football much more than 5 to 10 yards across the line of scrimmage.
We saw it at the end of last season. I mean, when he came back from that injury, he was not the same, and Brady hasn't had an injury like that.
He doesn't get hurt. He doesn't get hurt. He's not a real 44-year-old man.
Yeah, it's not the same. Breeze, however, he looked
Brady drinks potions and works with witch doctors. Drew Brees does not.
Breeze looked like his age at the end of last season.
He looked like a 40-year-old man trying to play quarterback.
Yeah.
Who was once great and is no longer great. And I think that is going to be a problem at some point in time. I will tell you this. If he looks bad and they lose a couple of games, let's say they're 4-4 in the first 8 games, do you give Jameis a look if you're Peyton? Because you went all in on this season. They are not – I've seen their salary cap issue. They don't think they're going to play football in 2021.
Yeah, I think I think you're right about that. I think you're right.
We're going to talk about all in.
Maybe they give Jameis a look, but or do you punt on the season at that point if you're 4-4?
You can't punt on the season because they are not set up
they're all in
to rebuild. They are not set up to rebuild. No, they don't have that option.
Maybe you let that happen. I would think for a typical team.
Is this a situation where Breeze tweaks something and we got to put Jameis in for a couple of weeks just to see if it works? And then we can see, can Breeze come back like we did with Bridgewater last year?
Well, remember, everybody says that he loves Taysom Hill.
Taysom Hill can't be it. Taysom Hill's not an NFL. The reason they have cap problems is because they give Taysom Hill $24 million. Okay, that is $24 million that should go to another player.
Or two.
I like Taysom Hill. I don't hate. He's not an NFL quarterback.
No,
he does not need $24 million.
No, he does not. I don't know of anybody else in the league that would have given him that. But either way, let's jump into the comments to close out the show today. We've got just a couple more minutes here. Tyrone Davis said Dallas will win against the Rams. Matt Miller said, do you guys think defenses stand out early because of the lack of reps from offenses? Yes.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Damian Estrada said, whoa, Vikings aren't that good against the division. They can't beat the Bears. Not true. But, and I'm going long span here, not just based on last year or anything like that. Matt Miller, he talked about Peter King. Damian said, Patriots are tanking. Tyrone Davis said, New England will lose every game. Y'all don't know Bill Belichick. I swear. Like that man does not tank.
This just hate.
If they were tanking, they wouldn't go get Cam Newton. That is absurd. Like, I swear to God.
Just unadulterated hatred.
Matt Miller said Dwayne Haskins went from the Ohio State University to the league and the Washington football team and ended up with a worse team. I would take Washington minus 31 against Ohio State. I think they would crush Ohio State. Young Ganji said got the under 9.5 on Eagles and under 43 on this game. Yeah, I don't think their offense is very good.
I don't think they're very good at all. I don't see it. And I've got people telling me they're going to win that division. It's them or the Cowboys. I don't know how you get to there. I just don't. I think they finished third or fourth in this division. I think Washington finishes second.
Yeah, no, you're high on Washington. I know you
I think Ron Rivera is amazing.
Matt Miller said that should be Washington's name, the Washington Taints. It would be named after their owner. Matt Miller said, I believe someone said he hasn't completed a pass over 35 yards in the last year. Talking about Drew Brees.
No.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Well, 35 yards. I would say 35 yards is a long way in the NFL today. We don't drop a whole lot of bombs in the NFL today. You do a whole lot of let a guy catch the ball in space and run. Very few guys have 35. Now, most of them all have a couple. So the fact that he has none is a little concerning. But
that's not the end all be all.
No, that doesn't concern me as much as the fact that you're just a tick slower because you're just older. And in the NFL, you can't be a tick slower.
Yeah. No,
you don't survive unless you're Tom.
You're right.
And he made a deal with the devil a long time ago, and I don't know how to fix that.
Young Ganji said, Tom's arm is getting old. Also, guys can't go deep with all that talent at wide receiver.
Did we watch the last game of the season? He had no receivers, but he was launching lasers 45 yards down the field.
Yeah.
They just hit him in the hands and dropped.
That doesn't fit their narrative, though. Here,
I know that.
Let's continue with the narrative really quick. Tyrone Davis said Cam Newton ain't that good. Well, no, he's been hurt for 2 years, and now he's healthy, and he's with a better football team.
Cam Newton's going to win the MVP this year. He's going to piss all of you off.
And then Damian jumps back in. He said Cam's not the right quarterback for the Pats, especially not a starting quarterback. I'm telling you, this is where y'all going to lose money.
It's going to be awesome.
Like, I'm not even
problem. They're going to beat the hell out of the Dolphins. Everybody's going to come back and say, yeah, but the Dolphins aren't any good. The Dolphins aren't any good. Call me when they play a good team.
Whatever. I'm in on it because I think that this is exactly what's going to happen. I think that Bill is going to look fine.
Bill Belichick is a petty, petty man, and he has heard everything you all said.
And I do think that Tom Brady and the Bucs are going to be pretty good. So
I have a Bill Belichick story that makes people that are Patriots fan love him even more, and people that are not Patriots fan justify why he's an asshole. This is a story that came out the other day that I saw online, and it was right before a playoff game or a big game. Tom Jackson went on. This was when Tom Jackson and Berman were at games doing the Monday Night Football stuff on site. So this is several years ago, but he basically came out and openly said Bill Belichick's players hate him. They just hate him. They play for him out of fear, nothing else. Bill Belichick was hounded by reporters seeking interviews, including 2 different people who approached him from ESPN. He said no to both of them. He hasn't forgot what ESPN's Tom Jackson said about him the first week of the season, talk about all the players, whatever. But when Chris Berman personally appealed to him, Belichick didn't say no to a friend. So the 2 of them walked across Reliant Field towards the ESPN stage where Jackson was already on set. Belichick approached Jackson. Jackson extended his hand. Belichick glared at him and said, "Fuck you." Jackson walked off. Jackson walked off the stage. Belichick sat for a one-on-one with Berman.
There you go.
That's my coach. That's my guy.
He's petty, and he is going to use all of this offseason
You talk all that noise. I hear it. I hear it all, baby.
Oh, yeah.
Hear it all.
Damian jumps in. He said, I see the Dolphins making the playoffs with a 10-6 record. You're a little too early.
10 games.
You're a little too early.
That schedule's man. That is really good drugs.
Yeah.
Really good drugs. You need to lay off of them. Just pace yourself.
Tyrone said, what's your take on the Cowboys? We did a preview on them just a little bit ago on the YouTube page.
Really good.
Find that.
Really good offensively. I think they're going to be among the worst defensively. I think they're going to win the division because the division is bad. I think they're going to be fun to watch, but I don't see them winning 12 games because you just play good offense. That's not how the NFL works.
I've got them in the Super Bowl. So, but I mean, what do I know? I don't know nothing. Last year was such a debacle, I swear. All right, you guys have been absolutely fantastic. Thank you for hanging around with us. We are pumped. We have got football tomorrow night. I cannot wait. First game of the NFL season. It is going to be an absolute banger. We hope. We hope it's interesting. We hope it's not awful. Lorenzo Salazar jumped in. Last comment said Eagles will win the East after they slaughter Washington. Hey man, I love people that believe in their teams regardless of what they see on paper. I love it.
Well, yeah, I do the same thing.
So, oh yeah, absolutely. So
I think I had the Browns winning 12 games last year.
Yeah,
maybe 13.
No, I think it was 12. I think I had to talk you off the 13 train. But either way, you guys have been fantastic. Thank you so much for jumping in the chat. Thank you so much for hanging out with us and coming to the channel over and over and over again. Tell your friends about the show. Click that like button. Hit subscribe. Make sure you are subscribed to the podcast so that way if you miss a live show, you get it right there in your feed. You don't even have to go digging for it. It's just right there. So simple enough. Go over to winningcureseverything.com. Go find our college football content. We gave our picks out yesterday for this weekend over at sbrpicks.com/NCAAF. And our show was yesterday. So make sure you go check that out. We are rocking and rolling over there with the college football season. This is going to be a hell of a lot of fun. You guys have been awesome. Take care of yourself. Take care of each other. We will see you tomorrow. Chris, we doing tomorrow?
Sure.
I have no idea. We'll figure it out. If not tomorrow, we'll see you on Friday. Thanks for checking out Winning Cures Everything. If you want to keep up with us, hit subscribe on YouTube or your favorite podcast app. Visit the website at winningcureseverything.com, or you can like us on Facebook or follow us at Winning Cures, at Gary WCE, or at Chris B. Giannini on Twitter. Share out the show, leave a nice review, and make sure to comment and tweet.